What's up guys, it's Dan, it's Gone, and today we'll be looking at trades involving the Blue Jays' core pieces, shortstop Bichette and first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Record-wise, the Blue Jays are not in a good spot. They're the only team in the American League East with a record under 500 and are in a tailspin recently, losing 13 of their last 19 games. From a playoff perspective, they're unlikely to make it, especially in the daunting division that they're in. And when that statement arises, it becomes time to seriously consider trading away assets to better compete for the future. In this regard, it comes down to their two most prized assets, Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., each of them on the second to last year of their contracts, free agents after the 2025 season. We've seen it time and time again, players who get traded with a year left on their deal get exponentially more than if they're acquired as rentals, meaning that if the Blue Jays are serious about trading their core pieces, then trading them this deadline would net them the biggest haul. Bichette has been an interesting case this year, and it will be intriguing to see what he ultimately nets if he gets traded. This year has been Bichette's worst year by far. He was always someone who would never walk, but Bichette would usually make up for this by consistently making contact, keeping his batting average around 300 and his on-base percentage in the 330s. However, this year, while the propensity to remain aggressive at the plate remains, the quality of his contact has dipped dramatically, and his stats have suffered because of it, with the batting average dipping into the 220s and virtually no on-base abilities or slug, a huge reason to the Blue Jays' struggles this year. Yet, despite his down season, Bichette still has a track record over his past 5 years to still prove teams that he is enticing enough to be their shortstop, not only for this year, but for the next year as well. He's led the AL twice in hits throughout the last 5 years, while playing about a league average shortstop defensively. For teams in need of a shortstop, while also looking for another star, Bichette could be the perfect buy low candidate, and I could see a market developing this year to make that happen. As for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the case is a little bit easier regarding potential suitors to his market. Teams are always in need of slug, and Guerrero Jr. might be the best option out there this deadline. Vlad's 2024 season has been his best season since his 2021 season, where he finished second in MVP voting. This year, Vlad is swinging at less pitches outside of the zone and elevating his contact, leading to more success as he was always one to hit the ball hard. While not the great consistent MVP candidate fans expected from the former top prospect, Vlad is still a very good player and great hitter that can provide easy pop and value to a team with World Series winning aspirations. While not a great defender at first base or third base, I could easily see Vlad moving to a DH position in the future, where he may be slightly more valuable given his abysmal defense anywhere else. As for trades, getting a good value on either of these players' worth is slightly tricky, especially since I don't know if the Blue Jays are trying to retool or commit to a full rebuild. But I'll assume retool since they would still hold on to Dalton Varsho, Alejandro Kirk, and others following this deadline. But before we get on to the trades, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but it also would encourage me to create more videos like this one for you guys. And without further ado, let's get on to the trades. As with almost every position player on the market this deadline, there's going to be some ties to the Seattle Mariners, who are always in need of hitting to complement their elite level pitching. Adding another star talent is paramount for the Mariners if they want to go far in the postseason, preferably someone who could either provide added pop in the lineup or ease the Mariners' strikeout issues. Bichette would fall into the latter category, although I don't know if Bichette is a star talent that the Mariners want to pursue this deadline. For starters, they already have a player a lot like Bichette already at the shortstop position in J.B. Crawford, and although Crawford is a worse hitter overall, he doesn't strike out a ton and is a better fielder than Bichette. However, if the Mariners do see a plan in which both Crawford and Bichette both get consistent playing time, presumably with one of them moving to the second base position, then the trade would look something like this. The Mariners trade shortstop Ty Pete, infielder Ryan Bliss, and outfielder Jonathan Clase for shortstop Bichette. In this trade, Ryan Bliss becomes the replacement starter for the Blue Jays immediately, Ty Pete can be the franchise shortstop in the long run as a top prospect in the Mariners system, and Clase a depth outfielder. However, while this trade is very doable and I do like it for the Mariners, I see them trading for more power in their lineup, potentially with the very same team, for another one of their hitters. From the offseason spendings, the Giants have showcased that they want to compete for a postseason spot this year from their big spending. And hovering around 500, they are right in the thick of the muddied NL wildcard race despite no contributions from their shortstop position. While Nick Ahmed, their primary shortstop, has been helpful defensively, he provides close to nothing at the plate and has been below replacement level for them this year. Bichette, while worse fielder, provides much more value at the plate, and his contact-oriented approach fits nicely in the large outfield that is Oracle Park, and much around the division in general. Although not with a great farm system, they get the job done by trading shortstop Marco Luciano and pitcher Hayden Birdsong. Luciano effectively becomes the replacement at shortstop for the Blue Jays and is the main reason that I doubt that the Giants will make this trade, given Luciano's high ceiling at the shortstop position at only 22 years old. And for the swap, the Blue Jays then get a major league ready pitching prospect in Hayden Birdsong. Birdsong, a 22-year-old righty, has already made his major league debut after absolutely tearing up the upper levels of the minor leagues with a 2.51 ERA in 13 starts, and looks to be a middle-of-the-rotation starter with a mid-90s fastball and great 12-6 curveball. Although the Los Angeles Dodgers acquiring a shortstop at this deadline sounds like the least of their problems given that they have Mookie there, who is one of the best shortstops in the league offensively, a Bo Bichette trade could better fit with their team construction and maximize the production that they have all around their lineup. Assuming Betts comes back healthy and productive, in which Bichette could fill in the shortstop position nicely in the short run if he suffers a setback, Bichette allows Mookie to go back to either right field or second base, both of which he has had much better defense than at shortstop, where he is holding his own but not a great defender there. So instead of replacing Betts, Bichette either replaces Gavin Lux or Jason Hayward, both of whom have not been contributing to this deep Dodger lineup. A Bichette trade simply adds more start potential, and the contact-oriented right-hander synergizes nicely with the types of star players that the Dodgers currently have. However, what I like about a possible trade with LA is the bevy of young major leaguers that they can offer in a trade, fitting what the Blue Jays want in major league guys to get younger while still remaining competitive. In my trade, I have Gavin Lux, Jacob Robleski, and Miguel Vargas as my package. Lux, an infielder who is a former top prospect, becomes expendable if they end up moving Mookie to second base following this trade. And although he has struggled this year, Lux is a good fielder at second base and he has a great eye at the plate, a good baseline for a complete ball player. And he's only 26 years old. With 2 more years left on his deal after this one, Lux could be shipped off if he has another good year in the future, or banked upon as a core piece. Miguel Vargas is a former top prospect who has historical positional flexibility to play anywhere on the field. And as for Robleski, while he isn't an elite prospect, he's a lanky left-hander who can play in the majors immediately. The Braves, as per usual, are fairly good, but their hitting has not been as dominant as it has in recent seasons. Part of it is due to Ronald Acuna Jr.'s injury, which is fair, but another part of it has been the struggles of some of their players who were expected to be huge contributors following an excellent 2023 season. One of them is Orlando Arcia, who has regressed from his all-star form in 2023 to post an OPS below 600 on the season and below replacement level on the year. This is one of the rare situations in which Bo Bichette's current numbers would actually be better than who he's replacing, and this isn't even accounting for positive regression. Defensively, Bichette is a slightly worse defender, but it's minuscule, and the added offensive prowess in a lineup that desperately needs it would be a huge improvement overall. With a bevy of young starting pitchers and a decent farm system now, the deal gets done by trading Hurston Waldrep, Nacho Alvarez Jr., and Luis Guanipa. Waldrep, a 2023 first-round pick, has already made the majors at 22 years old, and with a fastball that sits in the mid to high 90s and nasty splitter, he's got ace-level potential and a ton of time to grow. Alvarez and Guanipa replenish what is a below-average farm system in Toronto. Alvarez, a good hitting shortstop in AAA, may replace Bichette on this team immediately, but could also simmer for another year if he needs more time as a 24-year-old. Meanwhile, Guanipa is still in rookie ball, but was a highly regarded international signee in 2023. However, the number one landing spot for Bo Bichette would have to be the Guardians, who are sitting comfortably in a playoff spot almost despite their shortstop position. Brayan Rocchio, who is a slightly above average defender at shortstop, has posted an OPS below 650 and has been one of the only holes in an otherwise great Guardians team. Although Bo Bichette's current statistics aren't any better than Rocchio's, Bichette provides increased upside as a player who has consistently posted an OPS in the 800s every year, and their defense from the position is comparable. In my trade, starters Daniel Espino and Joey Cantillo, as well as middle infielder Angel Janao, get sent to the Blue Jays in this trade. Although this trade for the Blue Jays is more on the rebuilding side with Espino and Janao, Toronto cannot pass on the upside acquired in this trade. Espino was once a top prospect that due to injuries has seen his stock fall, but one healthy season puts him back on the map with ace potential, and Janao is a switch-hitting infielder capable of taking Bichette's spot long-term in the infield. Meanwhile, Joey Cantillo is a lefty starter who could be rotation depth for them immediately, helpful if they trade another arm like Yusei Kikuchi at the deadline. For the Kansas City Royals, they're having a fun year, with breakout players throughout the roster leading to a surprising season. However, for them to truly look at having aspirations to go deep in the playoffs this year, they should trade for another solid bat in their lineup. That bat could be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Although they do have Vinny Pasquantino at first base, who has been solid for them defensively and at the plate, their DH position needs some work, with their primary DH Nelson Velasquez posting a 77 OPS+. For Vlad, the DH position might be better anyways, given how he's a negative defender at both first and third. His bat is a massive upgrade for the Royals at the DH position, and makes a deep lineup even deeper, adding more protection to Witt Jr. While with a pretty bad farm system, the Royals can get this trade done by trading Caden Wallace, Drew Waters, and Eric Sarantola. For the Blue Jays, they get 2 MLB-ready pieces in outfielder Drew Waters and high-velocity starter/bullpen piece Sarantola. But the real prize in this trade is Caden Wallace. A 22-year-old third base prospect, Wallace has thrived in AA this year and has showcased decent power and great on-base abilities this year. The Guardians are another team that could use some more oomph in their lineup to see a long run at a playoff position and to aid that deep lineup that they have. Like the team they're boat racing to an AL Central crown, the Guardians already have an established first baseman of their own in Josh Naylor, but do need help at the DH position, where Vlad can play there. Right now, their designated hitter position, outside of David Fry, has been one of the worst in the league. Well below average, not even considering that DHs should be much better hitters than other positions. David Fry, anyways, is much more valuable as a utility man/corner outfielder anyways, so Vlad answers the biggest question that the Guardians have, and makes this great lineup even better and more sustainable. The Guardians also have a good farm system to facilitate a trade, and in mine, I have them sending over Gabriel Arias, Juan Brito, and Parker Messick. Arias has kind of worked as the utility infielder for the Guardians this year, and while he hasn't hit well this season, he's a former top prospect, and there's still a ton of potential for Arias to solidify a starting spot somewhere in the infield. As for Messick and Brito, both could start right away for the Blue Jays, Messick as a lefty in the rotation or bullpen, and Brito as a hard-hitting corner outfielder. And just for laughs, if the Guardians did want to acquire both stars in the trade, they have the farm system to do so, sending over top prospects Jason Churio and Kyle Manzardo, as well as former first-round picks Khalil Watson and Daniel Espinal. A huge haul, but for the Blue Jays' 2 brightest stars, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. Despite the recent breakout of Ben Rice playing to an absolutely insane 151 OPS+ in his short stint in New York, the Yankees have seen a lot of turmoil from their first base position, and Vlad could be the answer to a lot of their problems. In an ideal world, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could play multiple positions, third base and first base, and switch off given who's hot at the moment in Oswaldo Cabrera, DJ LeMahieu, or even Ben Rice. And in the long run, Vlad adds that third star alongside Judge and Soto, and as Stanton's contract nears its end, more money opens up for Vlad to be extended over the long run. Although I doubt that the Blue Jays would be willing to trade what was once the predestined face of their franchise to a hated division rival in New York, the Yankees have a great farm system to present an enticing offer. I got outfield prospect Everson Pereira, depth infield piece Oswald Peraza, and relief pitcher Danny Watson going back in this trade. 3 MLB-ready prospects and this one for the Blue Jays, although Watson might wait a little bit in the minors as he's still in AA. But all of them have floors as depth pieces or everyday players, and Peraza and Pereira were both once high-end prospects in the Yankee system before never really getting a spot on the team. On the retooling Blue Jays, they get their chance to thrive. For the Mariners, basically everything that I said about them in the first segment remains true about them in this segment with Vlad. However, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a much better fit with them than Bo Bichette. Instead of replacing what is already one of the more established players on their roster in J.P. Crawford, Vlad replaces either the struggling Ty France at first base or the struggling Mitch Garver at the DH position, both of which Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a huge upgrade over. Vlad immediately becomes that second star to pair alongside Julio and adds power that is desperately needed ever since Teoscar Hernandez and Eugenio Suarez left. For this, the Mariners trade over Michael Arroyo and Brody Hopkins in the deal. Hopkins is a young starting pitcher with a mid to high 90s fastball and great slider, but is still in the lower levels of the minor leagues, while Arroyo has been a top prospect for a couple of years now, but is still in the lower levels of the minor leagues after signing as an international free agent in 2023. But he is really starting to emerge as a top prospect this year by posting an OPS over 900 in the lower levels of the minor leagues. He also has positional versatility all around the infield, adding to his value. And although I really doubt that the Mariners would trade for both Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette in the same deal, it could certainly boost the hitting and make them World Series contenders, costing them top prospects Cole Young and Tyler Locklear, as well as Emerson Hancock. With Houston's aging core, it becomes paramount that they compete while they still have the prime years of Altuve, Bregman, and Kyle Tucker and the rest of their pitching staff left. One way to seriously upgrade this roster would be to upgrade the first base position, which has been left in turmoil ever since the downfall of Jose Abreu and his 3 OPS plus on the season. John Singleton has been decent as a depth piece turned everyday starter at the first base position with a 103 OPS plus, but given how a first baseman is supposed to be a primary contributor to the offense, and the Astros need a serious upgrade at the position to continue this hot streak that they're on. Vlad provides a serious upgrade at the position with his 135 OPS plus, and although the Astros do have a poor farm system, I could see them stopping at nothing to add this final piece to solidify the rest of their contention window, overlapping with Vlad's current contract for the next 2 years. They make this deal work by trading shortstop Bryce Matthews, Pedro Leon, and utility infielder Will Wagner to the Blue Jays in this trade. Bryce Matthews, one of the top prospects in the Astros system, is only 22 years old and already in Double-A after raking in Single and High A this year, posting an OPS above 1,000 in that time. And Will Wagner, the presumed replacement for Vlad in the infield, has posted a terrific season as a 25-year-old in Triple-A, batting .309, .423, .426 for an .849 OPS, and consistently posting good numbers throughout his career. Meanwhile, Pedro Leon could do the same as a utility man anywhere on the field, also posting great stats this year in Triple-A. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. Also, let me know if you like this 2-player format where I cover them in trades coming from the same team, or if you'd like me to make 2 separate videos where I cover each of them individually. Although there's might be a little bit less depth covering 2 players in one video, I like that I can make a trade involving both of them in the same trade, although I doubt that would happen. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.